Hey, I got an internship. That's the announcement that I've been stalling to make for a while now. I want a proper video where I can talk about it more in depth, like for about 9 minutes or so. But yeah, got an internship at UL Standards and Engagement. UL Standards and Engagement falls under the larger UL enterprise, and it's basically a nonprofit that takes data insights and makes them into actionable practical plans to implement new technology. The basic idea, I think this is the best way to explain it. It basically bridges safety and innovation, right? Because what's the purpose of innovation for people if those innovations aren't safe for those people? At that point, if they're not safe, you're probably doing more harm than good. I think it's a really awesome point for me. I think it's a really great internship for me because I'm going to be bridging safety and innovation. I think that's something that I really care about. Because I think at the core of what I do it for people. I do it to serve. I do it for the love of it. I think if I can innovate and make stuff safe for people, then it's gonna be really awesome. Just in general, I think it's a cool thing to do. So I'm really excited. I don't know. I think let me even go into how I got on the internship in the first place. So UL Science Engagement, they did, or I guess the UL Enterprise did a presentation at NSB 50. NSB 50 is the National Society of Black Engineers Conference that happened in Chicago this past month, I believe. Yeah, March. So when they did their presentation and then during the career fair, I went up to them, talked to them, and then I gave them my contact, or I think I either gave them my contact or I submitted my information to their database for I guess like possible interns or employees. And just for some context, at these career fairs, at least with the one in this at Nesby 50, what happens is that all of these companies are there, but then they have like these QR codes for you to scan and submit your information so they can email you with internship opportunities and stuff like that, or actual job opportunities for those who aren't looking for internships. I think it's really awesome. So that's how I got that was the first step, and then they contacted me for a phone interview. The phone interview was just pretty some basic stuff. They basically just want to know, hey, I think this one like, oh, who am I? Just introduce me and prepare me for the like stage 2 interview, which is like more of like the bulk of the interview. We had to do some more technical stuff. But I did the stage 1 interview, went really well. Got scared for a second because like they mentioned someone else's name, and I thought they meant like they actually wanted to interview him instead, but that wasn't the case. Um, but then I got to about the second stage of the interview, which is basically a more technical interview, but you don't actually have to code, right? That's what like that was my understanding of it at the time, which I thought was nice because I was like, okay, I can just talk about technical projects and that's it, nothing too crazy. Because I think I haven't been grinding lead code so far, so I was really worried that if it was like going to be a really technical interview, I wouldn't have done the best. Even though I have like the technical skills, my technical interview skills aren't all there yet, in my opinion. So then do the second stage of the interview, and that went well. Honestly, all I had to do was talk about some technical projects to theory. I think it was 3 or 4 really cool people. And it was awesome. I think what I really like about applications and interviews, I say this all the time, is I guess you to reflect a lot about what you've done, what you want to do. So with this to prepare, I just went through all my technical projects, went through how I built them, how why I built them, and why I even like use a Google Doc. I just went straight to pencil and paper. I just wrote them down. So I can have a general idea. 'Cause I think that was like if I didn't do that, that would have messed me up. Because if without preparation, if I just talk about technical projects, I think I can give a very high level overview of it. But then I think with these type of interviews, they wanted something more like low level, like actually explain why I did that, what language I used, what API, stuff like that, the structure of it, why I did certain things. And I think I was really happy with that because it was fun to talk about, especially considering like a lot of these stuff I did were pretty new to me, right? They weren't just these projects weren't something where I was like, oh, this is just a casual thing for me. I think each one was a step outside my comfort zone. So they were incredible. I won't say incredibly hard. They were hard to overcome, and since they were hard to overcome, I was really proud of overcoming them. I think I really showed throughout the interview because I was really passionate throughout the whole interview. Talk about each one. I get to like mention these small details that really like at the time I was really hooked on because like, oh, how did I do this? And then when I overcame it, I could really talk about why and how I overcame it, and it was just really awesome. So the first part. Then as that first part was wrapping up, they'll start talking about another stage of the interview, which I wasn't aware of. And it turns out that was gonna be a coding interview. I was like, dang. I was so scared because I haven't actually prepared for a coding interview in a long time. Um, and then I was like, okay, let me just do my best. Let's see what I got. It is. I guess if it's Python, I'm good. But with SQL. And here's the thing about SQL. SQL I think it's not too hard. I think SQL is pretty like at least the basic foundational stuff isn't too hard. It's more just syntax than anything. But the issue with SQL is I haven't touched SQL in a long time, right? Like I say like probably a couple months, 6 months or so. Um, so I wasn't prepared at all. And then they asked me like it was I think it was 2 to 3 questions or so. And they asked me and I was like I just wasn't I couldn't I could explain how to solve it, but I couldn't explain I couldn't write the syntax. Um, Fortunately and kind of unfortunately at the time was that there was an AI helper with the coding thing, which was like, oh, I was like, dang, that's awesome. But I also realized like, oh, maybe it's like a trick thing. Like if you use the AI helper, then it's like you're showing that you're not actually that good at coding. So I was like, I was hesitant to use it, but at some point I just realized I didn't know the syntax. They said, hey, you can just use the AI helper thing. So I don't know if they were trying to say like, hey, I kind of want this interview to be over and let's just get this over because we know you can't do the job. Um, so I did it, got it over with, and then the interview was over. And I was like, I was sad, man. Like, cause like the first, like, let me tell you, like the first part of this interview was amazing. Like, probably like the best thing there was. Cause I was just talking with them, and they were talking about their own projects. Like, we were just relating over our technical projects, and like it was various stuff. So it wasn't just like one technical project I spent the whole time. It was like I got to talk about 2 to 3 or 3 to 4 projects of mine. I can just like really go in depth into them and just like explain how I grew through each one and like the cool stuff of each one, just like what I hope to do in the future with them. And it was just really fun. Like even like besides like the whole like interviews aspect of it was just fun to talk about the technical projects. And then the second stage of that, like I don't know, I feel like that just undid everything in the first part because like I messed up that technical interview. Um, so that was done. And then I go to a meeting with GreenPath. I'm not gonna explain what GreenPath is, but did my GreenPath meeting. I got a call, and turns out it was my recruiter. I don't think I saved her number at the time, which is probably one of the dumbest things I've done. But I answered the call. I was like, okay, let me just take this call real quick. And I go to it. And it's like, okay, hey, we just want to call you real quick. This, mind you, this is like 30 minutes after the interview. And say, we don't usually do this, but they were really, really impressed with your interview, and we just want to like offer you the position. I was like, dang, thank the Lord, because like I can't like I don't know if I can possibly explain how bad the second part of my interview was. Um, but they offered it to me and I accepted very excitedly because great company, great people. Like just from the interviews alone, they're really cool people. I really hope to work with them. I accepted the offer, and then now in the summer I'm gonna be working with UL Standards and Engagement, and it's gonna be really, really awesome. UL Standards and Engagement, if to give a more give a better I think I already touched on that a bit, but UL standards engagement, they're basically bridging safety and innovation. I think that's one of the coolest things possible. And they fall under the other the UL enterprise, you have like UL Research Institute, and then you have UL Solutions. I'm gonna be working as a data science and engineering intern. So it's gonna be a really, really awesome opportunity to grow my skills, work in a professional setting. I've worked with I have my research job, which I can talk about later. I've done like I guess 2 startups now. Um, but I think it's gonna be like the first time working in a technical, um, professional position. I think that's gonna be really exciting to see what that's like. And I can't speak today. What that is like, and I don't know. I'm just excited. It's in Chicago as well, so birthplace of UL standards and birthplace of UL Enterprise, but also the birth where I met them. So it's like a full circle moment. I'm just really grateful. I'm really grateful to God. I'm really grateful to my Nesby chapter for even taking me along to um to Nesby 50, so I can even get this opportunity. But yeah, I'm excited. I think some aspects that I was like before I recorded this video, I was reflecting on some aspects. I think some stuff that also helped was that this whole coding AI, this whole tech thing, I guess, feels like a hobby of mine. It's not just something I just do for the money of it. I think I do like money. I feel like that's a reasonable thing to say. But I feel like a lot of this is more so of a passion. Like tech is just really cool. Like I think I annoy people the amount of times I bring up tech in general. Like if I go on the tech thing at all, it's gonna turn into like a whole long-winded thing. I think since it's such like a passion hobby of mine, I'm prepared for stuff in interviews that I shouldn't probably be prepared be that I probably didn't prepare for. So like for example, with this one, during the first part of the actual technical interview, they were asking me about my technical projects, but then they asked me something about AI. I think it was like, okay, list some dangers you think of AI or something like that, something about AI. And I didn't prepare for that at all, right? I had no idea they were gonna ask me that. But since AI is just such like a hard, like I'm always trying to keep up with the field and just like learn new things and think about it about how it impacts this community or how it can be implemented over here. it just felt like a normal conversation thing where I could just rant or like just give a long with an answer. And I just did. It was like it felt like a normal thing because that's like really what I do in my free time. So I think that really helped. But yeah, I think it's really awesome. I have an internship, so that's gonna be really awesome. I don't know. I'm just really excited. What I'm doing now is looking for an apartment for when I go to Chicago. So that's gonna be a whole thing. But I'm excited. I'm very very excited. Thank Lord. Thank my team. Thank my family. Thank this. I think this project actually helps a lot because that's also how I keep up with tech in a sense. Because I always have to find something to talk about for each day. But besides that, I have nothing else to say. So have a great day.